Have you ever stopped to wonder what really makes the difference for people who achieve, extraordinary success? Is it just luck? Maybe raw talent?
Or is it something deeper, something about how they think?
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, a real classic on the subject, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
An absolute cornerstone in its field.
Right. So our mission here is to unpack its core ideas, look at the impact it's had, which is huge, and figure out why it still resonates so much. I mean, it came out in 1937.
Almost a century ago. It's remarkable.
And it wasn't just Hill's musings. This came from a massive 25-year study. He looked at over 500 really successful people.
We're talking Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison,
Yeah.
the giants of that era.
An amazing foundation for a book, really.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into it. The absolute core, the central idea, is Hill stating that thoughts are things. What does he actually mean by that? It sounds simple, but it feels like there's more to it than just, think positive.
Well, yeah, it's much more active than just passive positive thinking. For Hill, it starts with this really intense focus, a burning desire, as he puts it.
Right, that specific phrase.
And it has to be backed up by unwavering faith, believing you can achieve it. He talks about things like autosuggestion, visualization.
So actively programming your mind.
Precisely. It's about transforming your inner world first. Your beliefs, your mindset that needs to shift before you see the external results. It's an inner game.
And he lays out steps, right? It's not just theory. He gives, 13 principles?
That's right, a practical framework.
One that always stands out to me is definiteness of purpose. Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. That's really about clarity, knowing exactly what you want, not vaguely hoping for success, but defining it precisely. And then, crucially, having a clear, organized plan to get there.
Targeted intention, not just wishful thinking.
Exactly. And then there's the mastermind principle.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Tell us about that.
The mastermind. Well, Hill saw that when two or more people align their minds in, like a spirit of harmony for a common goal,
Okay.
they create this synergy, a kind of third mind, he called it, that's way more powerful than the individual minds combined.
Like a collective intelligence boost.
You got it. He observed it with people like Ford and Edison working together. They could solve problems and innovate much faster that way. It's fascinating.
It really is. And concepts like these are probably why the book, written during the Great Depression, no less,
A time of incredible hardship.
why it's still picked up today by entrepreneurs, athletes, all sorts of people.
Absolutely. Because the focus isn't just on working hard, which is important, but on, let's say, working smart, developing the right mindset, that self-belief, discipline, using specific knowledge applied correctly.
Now, we do need to be balanced here. The book isn't without its critics.
No, that's true. It's faced its share of criticism over the years.
Some people argue it puts maybe too much emphasis on positive thinking and doesn't really acknowledge, systemic barriers or just plain bad luck, economic realities.
And that it relies heavily on anecdotes, stories, rather than hard scientific data, which is a fair point from a certain perspective.
So how do we square that? Its undeniable impact versus those methodological criticisms.
Well, I think you have to acknowledge those points. The empirical evidence isn't what you'd call rigorous by today's standards, but for millions of readers, the sheer inspirational force of the book, the feeling of empowerment it gives.
That outweighs the lack of data for them.
For many, yes. It offers a proactive message. You can influence your circumstances, and that message has resonated across generations. Kind of raises an interesting question, doesn't it? Does that inspirational, transformative power sometimes matter more to people than strict scientific proof, especially for personal motivation?
That's a good point. So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening right now?
I think the core message, really, is that significant achievement, success as you define it, it starts inside.
It starts within.
Yeah. It challenges you, the listener, to believe in the power of your own mind, and maybe more importantly, to take responsibility for shaping your future, to be the creator, not just someone reacting to things.
A powerful idea. So maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Well, if we take Hill's premise seriously, even just for a moment, if thoughts truly are things, maybe ask yourself, what's one specific thought, one belief, that you could intentionally cultivate this week?
Or maybe one to eliminate.
Or one to eliminate, absolutely. Knowing that, according to this philosophy, it could genuinely shape what comes next for you. Whether you buy into all 13 principles or not, it's worth considering how that core idea might apply to what you're pursuing.
Food for thought indeed, a classic for a reason.